we have any sound here. Let's see if we have any sound here. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to go live. And yes, there it is. Okay. Let's edit the video. Editing. Food. Show. And AI images. Food show and AI images. Show. This is good. Save. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so let's go here. And channel content. And let's go here. Pardon me. Let's see what this looks like. And guess we didn't pick up a, let's just refresh this, see if we can hear ourselves think here. Hello, hello. Oh, the sound's off. Let's see. Sound's on. Okay. I can hear myself. Wonderful. How come it's not very loud? Okay. I guess it's because I'm not speaking into the not speaking into the phone. Hey, Left Child, thank you for coming by. I think you can hear me. Let's just set this up a little bit better here. What am I doing here? Type show link to drop link. Show link to drop link. And I'm going to pin that. Pin the message. Okay, let's put this over here. And I'm just going to very quickly change the thumbnail. What's a good thumbnail here? Change. Where's my live thumbnail? So pass live. There we are. Save. Okay, that's good. So let's make this go away. And what are we trying to do? AI images. So we're going to try to edit a cooking episode, mac and cheese. No, mac and shrimp, I'm calling it. It's really mac and cheese with shrimp. And, pardon me. And last time I did an AI generated cat cooking in Sora for a cheesesteak sandwich, and it actually ended up looking pretty good. I didn't get a lot of hey, be strong. Okay, so that's a new name, Grizzly Warrior. Okay, but thank you for coming aboard. Thank you for coming aboard. I'll have to update my list of people. Once Upon a City, hey, thank you for coming by. Thank you for coming by. I haven't seen you walking in a little bit of time. I did spend a bit of time with We Go Travels. Is it Christine from We Go Travels? And it was quite an interesting walkthrough. I guess it was last night. A walkthrough of Niagara Falls in the lights. And I've been to Niagara Falls in the light, at night with the lights. And hey, Gaming E, let's give you a wrench and let you network as you wish. Please be kind. Pardon me. And yeah, so it was a nice, interesting walk through the um, Once Upon a City. Let's give you a wrench. No, it says you have a wrench already. Yeah, it was really nice, nice walkthrough, and I've never been there. That might not be totally true. Maybe 20 years ago, in the Cavalcade of Lights thing, and I was planning to actually go to Niagara Falls, New York, and never actually made it across the bridge at that time because Niagara Falls, Canada was interesting enough um, to make the pardon me, to make the Christmas lights work. So that was um, that was pretty good. The Let's just change this to go for people who have subscribed for more than a minute, um, just to keep the conversation a little bit under control. But thank you, everybody, for coming by, whether you're subscribing or not. But please like and subscribe. The Yeah, so Niagara Falls at night was amazing. So what I'm doing is, hey Caleb, thank you for coming by. Glad to see you. I haven't watched you play games in a while. I'm behind on watching other people's stuff. I've got to get organized. As I say, I spent probably a couple hours watching a walk around through Niagara Falls last night. So today's mission, should I choose to accept it, is to edit a cooking video and generate an AI thumbnail. And yeah, a bit of a cough here, and every time I cough, it goes blah, 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 blah. It's winter. It happens. The I'm going to generate an AI thumbnail of the food. So it's going to be interesting to see. Mac and cheese is kind of boring, right? It's just beige with some bumps where the mac is, and this one has shrimp in it. So it'll be interesting to see what AI generates. But I did like the AI cat, and I think I'm going to use that sort of as a mascot until something more interesting comes along. And so we'll see if we can get Sora, is what I'm using for AI video, to generate a cat making mac and cheese, or a cat putting shrimp into a dish. We'll see what the cat comes up with. Yeah, the AI, the orange cat. I'm watching the orange cats on TikTok, and some of them are kind of repetitive. A lot of intimate partner violence in one of them. Poor orange cat's getting hit in the head with a frying pan in every episode that I've watched recently from White Cat, um, because he's checking out other cats. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting commentary on life. So let me flip this around and let's spend the first few seconds. Is this reasonably well organized? I think it is. Yeah, it's reasonably well organized. Let me just cover up some of the clutter here. A mess on this desk. I'm trying to clean up a little bit. And let's just see if we can tilt this down a little bit to pick up a little bit more of the timeline on this Premiere Pro. And so what I already created the timeline. I didn't do anything with the things, but basically it's me cutting up some bread. Why did I cut the bread? Because I wanted the cutting board to be nice and clean. And so I did that first. And then I had to cut up some shrimp. Pardon me. And we put the shrimp in a little dish to get out of the way. A little bit of, just a tiny little bit of freezer burn on these shrimp. They guess they were lying in the freezer longer than I had planned. And but if I turn them up right properly, then they look okay in the video. So this, I don't know why we've got this little bit of clip here. Don't think we need that. So let's start by getting rid of that. And let's see, reveal. There you are. What clip is it? It is 334. Your toast. Where's 334? Where the heck is 334? There we are. Food clips 334. Mac and cheese 334. Okay, you're done. What do we got here? Then we're putting some. So this is a one pot kind of thing. Elith Adventures. Thank you for coming aboard. Let's not subscribe to you. I will. Let's give you a wrench. Network a little bit if you wish. And I will remember to check you out tomorrow once we've finished with all of this fun and adventure. Pardon me. Luth Adventures. Okay, so yeah, so we're going to cook the macaroni in the pan. We're going to let it cook for a while. We're going to check to see if it's done. Because we wanted to, this is a one pan thing, so we're going to just put stuff in the pan and keep adding stuff until it's done. I use a pan instead of a pot because it's a bit wider and easier to stir stuff. And looks better in the pictures as well. So what are we doing here? What am I doing? I can't even remember what I was doing here. I got to look up the recipe. We're adding onion flakes. Yeah, so let's zoom out a little bit so you can see what's going on here. Onion flakes, because I want the onion flakes to rehydrate a little bit. And then we'll mish that around. We're going to add some butter. And I had debated putting in butter because butter, I've always have a mind of how could you manage this on a boat. And you really need a fridge to have butter for any length of time. And there are a bunch of recipes floating around on the internet that suggest using olive oil and other things to instead of butter. And I figured that was a little bit too far out. I actually did like the thought a little bit to use olive oil. So this is traditional butter. Mac and cheese has butter. So the butter is melting. Okay, that's good. Now I didn't really measure the butter, but it's a 1/4 inch on, there's 1 pound of butter, so it's probably about a 1/4 cup. Mixing that around, mix. What am I doing here? What is this? Garlic powder. Yes, shrimp, it's garlic powder. And then we've got some, I can't remember what that is. I'd have to look it up. What spice was that? Let's see. Did I make a note of it? Obviously, I made a note of it. I should have made a note of it. You'd think I'd make a note of it. Well, let's see. Where's my shrimp? Where's my recipe? Cajun spice. Cajun spice. Yeah, because I wanted a little bit of a spicy taste. Later on, I put on some Old Bay because I'd really decided I liked Old Bay. No, it's Cajun spice. I wanted that. Cajun spice has got sort of a nice flavor. I put in some Old Bay as well, and then I regretted it. So I think I might actually cut it out of the video. So I added it at the very end. And I found it to be saltier than I expected. Okay, mixing in the shrimps. what's this little guy here? Closing the lid, mixing in the shrimps. And these are pre-cooked shrimps, so they just need to heat up and pick up some of the flavor. Okay, cup and a half of cream. Cup and a half? I can't remember how much cream. A cup of cream. And mix, mix, mix. Let it boil for a while. And so it's still got the pasta water in there. And everybody says, leave your pasta water in because it'll thicken the sauce. Um, when I started, when I finished, started serving it, it was really nice consistency. By the time I got around to eating it, because I ended up taking still pictures and recording video of me serving it out and putting the plate on the table. So it was probably like half an hour afterwards, by the time which it got a little bit cold. And it got, there's my cheese. And we're letting it cook. We're tasting it. What are we doing here? We're serving it out. Looks like mac and cheese, right? Kind of boring. Um, yeah, so here, this is breadcrumbs. And now I'm putting on a bit of Old Bay. So it has a bit darker spots. But I decided I didn't like the taste of the Old Bay. So I'm going to maybe talk about it. See, there's some Old Bay. There's Old Bay right there. So maybe it's in the recipe. But I found it a little bit overpowering and a little bit salty. Saltier than I had hoped for. Let's just zoom out here. So it was fast. How long does it take macaroni to cook? 10 minutes. I think actually let it cook for about 12 minutes because they were still a little bit too chewy. And but you throw in the shrimp; they're already cooked, so it's like a 15-minute meal. That I was going to break into two meals, and then I guess I got more shrimp in the first serving than I expected, and I liked it so much. Hey, Sonia, thank you for coming aboard. I haven't been in your channel for a while. Let me give you a wrench. You can network as you wish. The I liked the taste so much that I picked all the shrimp out of the second serving, and my lunch was more than I had planned. So let's take the first. We've been talking for 17 minutes. So the first part of this live session will be, we'll do the editing of this thing. I don't have the captain's voiceover. I'll have to record that. I was cleaning up the studio a little bit, and I had moved my green screen and took it down. So I got to do that. So basically, we want to start this with cutting up the shrimp. Why? Because it's all about shrimp. And then we'll get into the mac and cheese. It's kind of boring, but it's a recipe. Okay, John P. Okay, now I understand. Because there's John P. Adventures, and then there's also just John P. And I'm not always sure if it's the same people. But interesting channels. John P. Adventures is particularly interesting. And the John P., that's just John P., as I started to subscribe to them because I thought it was all the same one, and enjoyed them both. Okay, so let's start with the shrimp because the shrimp is the hero ingredient. We'll make it centered a little bit. Blah blah. I'm gonna cut them up. Okay. How many minutes is that? 50 minutes. 50 seconds. That's way too much time. Okay, so we don't need all of this at the beginning of putting the shrimp on the cutting board. And how fast is this? Okay, so we'll speed it up just a hair. After we got the shrimp on the cutting board, so we'll get to there. We'll cut that there. We'll take this piece and we'll make it 140% faster. Speed and duration, 140. I'm such a slow cutter, and I could fall asleep watching me cut up food. So yeah, so here you can see a little bit of the freezer burn, but If you're serving company, I probably would not, but it worked for me. Okay, so we're cutting up the shrimp. Let's um, let's really go just cut back a little bit here. No, we'll do that later. So here we're getting the macaroni going. We don't need too many seconds of bubbling water. Let's zoom this out, put it in the center a little bit. There we are. And we're putting that, letting that cook. Okay, so how many seconds is that? That is 20 seconds. So that's a little bit too long for just, yeah, look, I like shrimp. I was going through and just analyzing my recipes for the last year, because I'm working on this cookbook at the same time. And I hadn't realized how many were shrimp recipes. And it's not supposed to be a shrimp cookbook. It's supposed to be a cookbook in general for that you might consider if you're cooking on a boat. Okay, there we close the lid. Okay, so how many seconds is this now? This is now down to 14 seconds. I can live with that. Okay, so we're cutting up the shrimp, and we're going to cook this. Now, how much cooking do we need? So if I look at all of the cooking, it starts at 2 minutes and 49 seconds into this. Let's go back here. It starts at 2 minutes and 29 seconds, and the macaroni is done. Okay, so there's my onions. So there's cooking. 521, 221, basically. So 3 minutes of video of cooking macaroni. That's kind of boring. So we'll start with that one. This next clip where I'm basically stirring it, we'll be stirring it. We'll be, okay, we're using up all the water. So that's worth talking about because we want to say that we want to have just enough water. Hey, Easy Home, thank you for coming aboard. Nice to see you. I think I thought I looked at two of your recipes earlier in the week. I like the way you describe the ingredients, even though I don't understand the language, but it seems easy enough for me to follow. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this macaroni, this macaroni. We're closing. Where's the lid? Okay, so we got the lid there. We're going to open the lid and stir it. Okay, so we'll go there. Let's get rid of these two. Reveal and project. So we're going to get rid of 336 and 337. You're gone. Yes, you're gone. 336 and 337. 3. Where's 336? And 337. How much cooking in macaroni can you look at? Okay, so now we have, we're going to, so that, okay, now we're going to stir this. Again, I got to get rid of the first 8 frames, which is about a quarter of a second, because the stupid camera doesn't record any sound, so what you get is sort of like a hiccup in the sound. Okay, so we're going to open it, stir. And here I'm going to talk about saying that we're going to cook it for a couple minutes shorter than the recommended. Hey, Caesar Mocha, thank you for coming aboard. Thank you, really appreciate it. We're going to cook it for a couple minutes less than the recommended cooking time because it'll cook a little bit longer with the cheese. We're not going to take it out and drain it and run it under cold water to stop the cooking. So it's a bit of a hit and miss as to how to get it. Now, I like my my macaroni mushy, so I'm not one of those al dente people. There we are. We're tasting it, testing it. I prefer mine mushy. Okay, what are we doing? They're closing the lid. Okay. We don't need 20 seconds. 16 seconds of mixing is good enough. And if it gets boring, then we can get rid of that. I've got enough footage to make a 7-8 minute video. Okay, so now, what are we doing? Okay, we're going to talk about the fact that most of the water is boiled off. And what's this all about? Let's cut that there. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this long piece here. How many minutes of video do we have now? We're down to 11 minutes for the whole program, which is more than enough. So we don't need to put the repetitive stuff. Okay, so here we're mixing, we're testing the doneness. And I did it for the effect of the video, but I also did it actually to test it. I chewed on that macaroni. Okay, so now we don't need the opening of the lid. Okay, that's nice. Okay, where are we doing this? So we're putting the heck is going on here? Okay, what? Oh, I guess okay, yeah. I started doing it, and the dried onions were stuck in the bottom of the glass, and they wouldn't come out, so I had to do it again. So let's get rid of this altogether. We don't need that clip. Camera was going. It's only used one time. What clip is it? It is number, I can't see. It's number 340. You're gone. 340. So the camera was running, and I was loosening up the jar of onion flakes. And I used onion flakes instead of real onion because I wanted to make it a simple recipe. And we've already cut up the shrimp, which was kind of optional. You could have put in shrimps without cutting them. But I like having a bit of the good stuff sort of in every forkful. And by cutting the shrimps into thirds, basically, then you end up with a lot more shrimp per forkful. Okay, so now what are we doing here? Let's take out the first 8 frames of this thing. Move this over. Okay, so we're stirring, we're testing that. And we're going to bring the spoon in there. Going to put in some good red onion flakes. Stir that around. Stir that around. Okay, that's the end of the stirring. And then what have we got here? We've basically got the lid. Okay, let's come in here. We're adding the butter. Letting that melt. Okay, so the total cooking of the macaroni is from 2 minutes and 28 seconds to 3 minutes and 31 seconds. So that's really just a minute for the cooking. So that's not too bad from a point of view of getting bored. Pardon me. Let me just have a sip of Diet Coke here. Diet Coke makes the world go round. So what are we doing here? Okay, we're mixing this up. We're letting the butter melt. Butter's still melting. It didn't melt as quickly as I thought. Okay, that's good. So here's action there. We don't need to stare at a bunch of butter in the middle of the dish. We're moving it, mishing it. Starting to see the butter in the under the macaroni. Okay, get rid of that. Now what do we got? So here, what are we doing? Now we're going to add, can't remember what I was doing here. Let's zoom out a little bit. I think this is the salt. Yep, that's salt, my sea salt. I thought that sea salt was going to get hard as a rock. That was on the boat, and then I took it home, and it's just, it's a cardboard container, and if you squeeze it, it breaks up the crystals into a nice thing. Okay. I'm not going to cut out the dead, like this is dead, nothing's happening here, right? And then we're putting in the garlic powder. And then we're going to put in the Cajun spice. Mix it around. End of the action. Okay, so this bread, cutting up the bread is going to go at the very end because it's really the bread was just there as a prop for the serving. Okay, so that's that done. Now, let's take out the first 8 frames, blah, blah, blah. So we're 4 minutes in, and then we're putting the onions, the shrimp into the macaroni. So that's not so bad from a timing point of view. Mix up the shrimp. And see, if you're watching it, you don't really see freezer burn. I know there is some. If I'm looking at it, I see a few bits of white from time to time. I cheated a little bit, and I kept out 3 shrimps for decoration, for garnish, for the photo shoot. Close that. Okay, so we don't need this clip of it closing the lid. Let's get rid of that guy. Revealing project number 346. You're gone. 346. 346 is simply just closing the lid. Doesn't add any value. Now let's see. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're stirring and stirring. We're stirring and stirring. Do we need more stirring? Okay, we don't need this more stirring. But I'll know that if how many minutes do we have now? Let's just go back and look at it. We're down to 10 minutes. We don't need this unnecessary stirring. A second time, stirring, 347, you're gone. You know, want people to hang around and waiting for watch hours, but I don't want them to get bored and walk away from the whole thing. Hey, Mr. Jake, thank you for coming by. So I came to your workout. It was sort of the last second there. My God, you had those muscles on your arms are huge the way you were lying or the way the camera was. And I just finished typing hello, hello, and it disappeared. So I missed your thing. Arizona Jake has got this interesting workout program, obviously in good shape, so obviously it works. And he enjoys cooking, so a great show to watch. Great show to watch. Okay, so let's bring this in here. Now we're going to put in some cream. Pour the cream. Mix, 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 mix. Put the lid on it. That's good. We don't need to mix, 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 mix. Mix, 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 mix. Okay, so this one, we're seeing some nice bubbling here. Nice bubbling. Here, bubbling. Okay, so this is just after the cream was in. We don't have good bubbling. You got to eat what you cook. Um, so this bubbling is more boring than this bubbling. Let's get rid of this guy. Reveal and project. It is number 349. Your toast. 349. Okay, so that's stirring it. And then we're doing cheese. Okay, so we need this one. Let's figure out how to take out the first 8 frames. There we are. Triple delete. Make this a bit shorter. Okay, so here we're stirred. Now we did the cream. We're stirring that cream. And now we're going to put in some shredded cheese. And you know, if you read the more elite cooking blogs and watch their cooking, everybody's against grocery store shredded cheese because it's coated with something so it doesn't stick together. Hasn't killed me yet. It's probably good for you, and it's certainly a lot easier than grating your own cheese. Every time I get on, so we got 2 cups of grated cheese. 2 cups? Half cups. It's 1 cup of grated cheese. And pretty sure it's a cup. I'd have to look at my notes. I'm hiding the thing. I think that's the half cup measure. And then I made a mistake because I was going to take a photo of it, and by the time I got the other camera out, I had missed the cheese all the way into the bottom. So then I did another cheese. I guess I didn't record it, right? Because it was simply to give me a good-looking dish for a food photo. Okay, let this simmer for a minute. We'll take out the first few seconds of this, not a few seconds, a few frames. We're tasting it. Zoom out a little bit. We're tasting it. I'm not sure why I bothered tasting it so late in the thing, but I guess it gave me time to make sure that it was salty enough. But it didn't make me realize that I shouldn't have used the Old Bay on it. So here we're going to serve it out. And even here, so it's starting to get a little bit thicker than I would have preferred because I was spending time fiddling with photography as opposed to eating. Okay, so here, breadcrumbs. And the breadcrumbs really were inspired by, I was looking at a recipe somebody was talking about mac and cheese in the oven. So the breadcrumbs would turn nice toasty brown. We're not doing oven here. We're doing stovetop. So how many seconds of bread cutting do I need here? I don't need 24, but we're going to speed it up again. As I said, I'm a slow cutter. 140%. Yeah, it looks okay. Let's stick that in here. We're serving it. Okay, we're cutting up some bread. And there's the bread on the side of the plate. Does it really need bread? Yeah, the bread looks pretty. I was going to put butter on the bread. Okay, cut that there. Okay, where am I? So here, let's take this last one here. Let's keep that. Let's get rid of this. enjoy. Okay, so that's good. So now we're down to 8 minutes, and I think I've got a minute at the beginning here that I have, that's empty, so it's a 7-minute video. Yeah, if the reason I didn't do baked was, again, I'm looking at the concept of doing this on a boat. So my boat has an oven, but the amount of propane that goes through for 15 minutes to create a hot oven, you'd never do it. It just doesn't work out economically. So trying to stay away from things that don't make sense in this environment. Okay, so here we're going to, I always take one shot of the finished product and put it at the beginning. You don't need the sound for here. And then one shot of the cooking. So where's the shot of the cooking? I like this one. So let's take this one and we won't put the whole thing because that's, how many seconds is this? It's 25 seconds. We don't want 25 seconds. I just want 5 seconds at the beginning. Okay, so there's the shrimp. Okay, so we're mixing the shrimp. That's good. So if we have 5 seconds, 6 seconds. How long is this intro part here? This is, hello, 11 seconds. Okay, so that's a little bit longer than I'd want it to be, but we'll worry about that later. And I'm going to put all this stuff together. We're going to end up with the captain speaking in here, and we're going to end up with the ingredients in here. Yeah, and you know what's even tougher than cooking on the boat is recording what you're doing because there's no room for the camera, no room for lights. The angle's always wrong, so a lot of this stuff is recorded in my basement. And now the boat is covered in snow, so obviously that's not going to work either. Anyway, so this is a nice video. It's 7 minutes long, so, with the captain talking and the ingredients being read out. I think we're going to have a video that's just long enough. Pardon me. Just long enough. So this is actually turned out pretty good. I thought it was going to be a lot shorter because when I visualized this thing, I mean, people do shorts, the whole recipe in shorts. And theoretically, yeah, you could cut out a lot of this stirring, right? You put the noodles in, you don't have to do all the stirring. But I think it's a nice, watchable thing. And a lot of people seem to watch this on television, if I look at my statistics. So the people are watching it like they're watching a cooking show, sitting on a sofa, and I'm happy that people see it as that. So let's put this aside, and let's save it. And we're going to do two things. We're going to do we're going to go to ChatGPT. No, let's go to Gemini, Google Gemini, and ask it to, hey, Canadian Vasily, I haven't seen you in a long, long time, and I haven't been by your channel, so I will remember to drop by tomorrow. We're going to go to Google Gemini, Nana Banana, and ask Nana Banana to give us a picture of mac and cheese and shrimp and see what they do. Now, again, this is my interpretation. So I had saved a few shrimp here. They're not pink enough. I am going to actually fiddle with the color a little bit but I put full size shrimps on top. I thought I'd also put just a little bit of cheese. Did I put a little bit of cheese? No, I guess I didn't. Because I wanted the color of the orange cheddar, and I I didn't. Okay, so let's just go back and look at another project, open recent. So let's see. Let's look at this boat cheesesteak. So if you haven't seen my boat cheesesteak video, while we're here, we're going to copy the thing here. So this guy here. So the AI cooking cat. So this cat was generated by Sora, OpenAI's Sora, and I thought he was kind of cute. I have a black captain's hat. I should have said white hat, but he ended up looking pretty good. A couple others got generated, and I wasn't happy with the look of it. But that was closed project. So let's minimize this, get it out of our way. And let's go over to Nano Banana. Google Nano Banana. So apparently Nano Banana Pro is better, and apparently if you click on all these sponsor links, you get crap that you don't want. I just want Google's AI Studio. Here we are. This is Google Gemini, not Pro, because I'm not going to pay for it. Google AI Studio, okay. Where do I get started? You might as well agree. How come? Okay, so that's the wrong Nano Banana. Where is Nano Banana? It's going to take us to Pro. I don't want to try Pro. How come I'm not getting Gemini? Where's Gemini? Image generation. No thanks. Yeah, I don't want to upgrade. So let's ask Gemini for Gemini AI Pro. You have, yeah. I'm torn as to whether I want to spend a lot of time with these things. I thought of doing a series, and then there's the whole issue of character consistency and voice consistency, and so I've sort of put that aside. So this is I'm going to ask Sora for a 10-minute video, and I'm going to take 10 seconds. A photorealistic image of a bowl of mac and cheese with shrimp on a table with a view of the ocean in the distance. I've decided I like that look. Okay, let's see what they generate in the distance. And I'm going to start up a notepad so I can keep track of these prompts so I can reuse them without trying to figure out where they went to. So let's see what this generates for us. Here's my image. Okay, so we're going to let that cook for a minute. And then we're going to do the same in Photoshop. Okay, so that's not bad. I like the shrimps. Is this better than my picture? It's palm trees. Yeah, sure. Glass of Coke. I did not ask for a glass of Coke. The macaroni is a little bit on the yellower side than I would have preferred. Pardon me. And it's, pardon me, too much talking. But it's a nice looking picture. So let's save this guy. Where is it going to save? I don't want to save it in my Sora folder. I want to save it in my AI food folder, which is AI food images. So this is Gemini generated image, mac and cheese with shrimp, view of the ocean. Let's give it a name so I can find it again and how it got generated. So that's not bad. Would I change anything? Yeah, let's leave it the way it is. I like that. Let's put it aside. And let's fire up Photoshop and see how Photoshop does. Now, Photoshop, I found that their images were much nicer than anybody else's. So here, just to go back and look at it. So this is a Photoshop salmon steak with a view of the ocean in the background, right? And this is, where's Nano Bananas, ChatGPT. Who else? Here's a, oh, no, that's Beans. Where's a ChatGPT? Nano Bananas, Adobe. Where's ChatGPT? Nano Bananas. Here's ChatGPT's steak, so it doesn't even look like a piece of salmon. It looks like a mystery fish. So in the end, Adobe did the nicest job, and Adobe generates images. I've been generating them 4,000 pixels wide, whereas everybody else is doing 1,000 pixels wide. Boardwalk came to mind when I saw that as well, but I'm not unhappy with that. I'm not unhappy with that. Let's go see what Adobe is going to give us. A new 4,000 by 3,000 white background. And we're going to ask it to generate an image. Generate image. And I'm going to basically give it the same prompt. Photorealistic image of a bowl of mac and cheese with shrimp on a table with a view of the ocean in the background. Let's see what Adobe does. Generate. Let's just move this over here so that the camera can see it. I like, oh my God, those shrimp. Look at those shrimp. I mean, you know, I claim to be a food photographer, but I look at other people's pictures of of shrimp, and my shrimp never look this good. Where is the mac and cheese we just did? So this is Nano Bananas shrimps, and this is Adobe shrimps. Would you rather have that shrimp? Or would you rather have that shrimp? Now, I don't like tails on shrimps when they're in sauce because they get all gooey and you pick them up and they get the sauce all over your fingers. So I do like the fact that, let's move this side in here. I do like the fact that they generated this without the tails, because and that's how I actually did it in real life. But come on, guys, this versus the color is the same. Now this isn't macaroni. This is rotinis or fusillis or something. Um, but I love it. Now, Adobe gives you 3 examples. So there's mac and cheese. That's elbow macaronis. Again, nice shrimps on top. More shrimps. Um, I I'm happy with any one of these. I like this one the best. Um, am I going to use it for anything? I might use it for the thumbnail for the video. So um, if you save all this in as a Photoshop image, the Photoshop file is almost a gigabyte large. So I'm just going to export this as a PNG. Save as. Mac and cheese or shrimp. Table view of the ocean. We don't want it as a PSD. We want it as a PNG. A JPEG would take less room, but a PNG is a bit better quality, less compressed. Where's PNG here? PNG, Adobe, O1, save. And now I am going to save the other one. This one I like the best, even though it's rotinis. File, save as, back to PNG. Where the heck did I save this? I don't know where I just saved this. Oh, this is in a place where I'm doing stock photography. That's a bad place for it to be. So let's just drag this over here. And we don't want to save it there. We want to save it in my YouTube food photography, YouTube food AI. Okay. Ocean O2. And it's Rotini. I like Rotini, to be quite honest. I prefer Rotini over macaroni or over elbow macaroni anytime, but it's not traditional thing. And let's look at the third one. And because I have a subscription for Adobe, so I'm paying for it, I guess. Do we like this one? Yeah, it's got lots of shrimps. And again, we're trying to, this looks like California, right? There's California Ocean, Big Sur, left coast kind of thing, looking north. PNG, where's PNG? And it's number 3. 03. And I'm just going to let it generate one more time. So it'll generate 3 more, just to see if there's any of them are more exciting. So second time around, It's got a little bit of, oh, so it didn't put any garnish. Yeah, it did have some garnish in there. So here's a bit of garnish. Let's move this over where we can see it. I like the ocean better on this one. It did do a better job of the table than Nano Banana did. Um, we'll save this one because I like it with the shrimp tails there, even though I don't like shrimp tails. Save as, back to PNG, and this will be version 4. And I'll look at them later on and decide what I want to do and crop and play with them. Maybe do nothing, but I did want to see what 04. Save. And I'm just going to, so this is a 4,000 pixel wide image. If you take the Nano Banana and blow it up, it will, you can blow it up to 4 times, but the quality starts deteriorating rapidly. Now maybe Pro does a better job than that. So let's just save the, where is this? Where is this? Adobe Mac and Cheese with a view of the ocean. And I just want to see how big the file is going to be. Okay. The file is only 116 megabytes. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. I've gotten up to a gigabyte on some of these multi levels of. So I'm behind on the chat here. Canadian Vasily looks kind of Warlock. Much better on Adobe with the second prompt. Yeah, so you could do better prompt engineering, but I'm not unhappy with what Adobe did, and I like Adobe because the files are bigger. Okay, so let's put this aside, and let's go visit our good friends at Sora. So let's save this prompt here. It's in the wrong folder. It's in the food AI images. Okay, let's go visit Mr. Sora. Gemini, let's come in here. Sora.com. And is it going to remember me? Why did it not remember me? Let's log in. Why don't we continue with Google? Hello, Mr. Login. There we are. So here, I've got 3 whole likes. Oh my God. Isn't technology great? How come it's not showing me?
Nothing than fresh fish with the.
So here there's this stupid cat trying to eat the cheesesteak sandwich.
The ocean do the rest.
This guy, I like this one. It has the sharks in the background. So what we want to do is we're going to, what am I asking for? A photorealistic video of a cat with a white captain hat putting cooked shrimp onto a bowl of mac and cheese. And I claim to understand how computers work, but I do not understand how generative AI works. White captain's hat. Just fixing some typos here. Bowl of mac and cheese on a yacht. It did actually, I got a nice yacht out of another one. So let's give this a try. This is a free version of Sora, but it has never cut me off. And I want to do landscape, and I want to do 15 seconds. Not that I want 15 seconds worth of video, but I want the option to be able to find 3 seconds of interesting, the three good seconds. And yeah, on Sora, my name is Sail GPS, I believe. It's a mystery. What is my name?
So, Char, little smoke.
My name is Sailing GPS. Oh, thank you very much for that, Canadian Vis. I really appreciate that. Let's turn off the sound here. Yeah, I didn't like this guy eating the sandwich. Now, I have myself eating the sandwich on the boat, the Philly cheesesteak sandwich actually on the boat, and I used that in the last video that's up now, if anybody wants to look at it. And the sky is blown out because the camera wasn't dealing with the light properly, and I wasn't paying attention, blah, 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 blah. But I like the real guy eating more than I like the cat eating. If the cat eating showed more of the inside of the sandwich, I'm not sure how you would do that. That would have been interesting. But it didn't do that. So let's see how we're doing with generating this video. We're not there yet. Like if you look at this guy here, so this was another one I generated, and it has the captain with the right hat. It has sort of a British Australian ensign flag there. I don't know why I did that. It knows I'm in Canada from the IP address. It's actually not a bad video of a sailboat. It looks like sort of a cross between a Catalina and I don't know, something else. I like the shark going by there. So it's an interesting looking boat, and they did a nice job of the grill as well. I have some other pictures of a grill that Sora did for me, and this is actually good. But I decided I didn't want a fake me, a fake cat. We know that a cat can't cook, and so the cat is a humor device. It's a mascot. If I needed a video of a captain in a captain's hat, old guy looking, I would just use myself. Now, staging this with the way the angle of the light is and where the camera is, that would be a little bit of work. I decided I like the idea of the cat. So let's see how we're doing. We're not there. Oh, we're there. Okay, so it's generated it. Where's my cat? Where's my captain? Here he is. Nope, still thinking. Still thinking. And then, but it's the wrong that's portrait. I asked for landscape. There it is. It is landscape. Okay, let's see what it looks like. So that's actually not bad, right? The cat is straightening out the shrimps. Let's see what he has to say.
Seasoned skipper, the captain adds the final touch. Placing each shrimp just so, he arranges them atop the creamy mac and cheese.
It does generate
like little orange
interesting
sails on a golden sea.
interesting dialogue that
Pause. Out here,
I don't really want. Um, let's change the Captain Cat prepare making mac and shrimp for dinner. Yummy. So that's really just for the Sora gallery. It's not sure what the point is. I asked somebody else what the point is of another social media site in terms of getting visitors to a okay, so let's download this mess. Hey, where did you go? So you can create a character here, and I think I haven't played with some of this stuff. I will. So this is Sora. So this is my cat. Cat putting cooked shrimp on a bowl of mac. Okay, so let's put that aside. And I'm going to actually use this clip in this video that we've just been working on. So let's go find, where's my Sora folder? There we are. There's my cat that we just downloaded.
With the steady composure of a seasoned skipper, the captain adds the final touch. Placing each shrimp just so, he arranges them atop the creamy mac and cheese, like little...
Okay, so let's go back to our editing. And what we're going to do is take this cat here and drag him into, I can't get it both on the screen, so let's drag him into here. And we don't want the audio. You're gone. There's a cat. Now, so the size of this file, 15 seconds, is 7 megabytes. So that's nothing compared to a 4K file. But again, it's only 720 pixels wide, high. Let's make it bigger, fill the screen. I'm going to make it just a hair bigger. I don't totally care whether there's a Sora watermark in there or not. Yeah, Canadian Vasily, tell me who you are. Put it in the chat, and I'll check you out as well. If you're willing to share it. I will check it out. Okay, so here, let's see how much of this silly cat we want. Okay, so we really want the beginning where he's picking it up. He's putting it on there. Ah, perfect. Okay, so that's good. As I say, I don't really mind that Sora is in there. I could create a mask to mask that out and do something with it. So let's bring this to the beginning. And we're going to stick it in here. Now we're going to have the captain So the color is much more saturated than this is. So let's saturate this a little bit more. And let's change the contrast, make it that bigger, that darker. And then I really want my shrimps to be yellower, to be pinker, right? So let's see if we can make them pinker. I can do this in Photoshop, but I'm going to try to Canadian Vasil. Okay, Canadian Vasil, I'll check you out. Definitely. Um, let's just play a little bit with, here, let's see, can we make this pinker? How do I do that? Let's go here. Is that better? That's better. Okay. Let's make it pinker. Is that pinker? Okay, so that's pinker. I like that better. I do like that cat. I do like that cat. And we're going to have the captain, me, basically, talking as well in there. And it'll be shot because it's cold. I'm not going to go in the boat today to record that. But it'll be shot on green screen, and I have several shots of me sitting in the cockpit at the dock. That'll be the background for that. So the cat, the cat turned out nice. It's a mascot. It's never gonna. I'm not that interested in fake AI video cooking, although I've seen some. I've seen a cat. There's a lot of Chinese cats, and I've seen some fried pork belly videos of the orange cat, and he does such a good job of chopping up the onions and putting in the oil and the soy sauce, the rice wine, and mixing it all up and putting it in the wok, and there's some weird things. There's another cat today. The cat was trying to get into a building, and so there's a building with a door handle on the left, big door handle, and the cat, it wasn't the orange cat, it was another cat. He was running up the door, and he pounds on the door, and he wants to get in. So he pounds on the door, and he reaches in, and he pushes on the side away from the doorknob, and it opens on that side. So obviously, the AI isn't super smart from that perspective. So here we've got a cat in a hat. I think I'm going to put this aside. I've got to deal with something else. So let's save this mess. And this should be live. What am I saving? I'm saving the wrong thing. This should be live tomorrow, Friday, is my plan. Or Saturday morning at the latest. But I like the cat. It's got some green garnish on there. The AI is pretty good, and so Adobe is actually this is open AIs, but Adobe, I'm doing photography for Adobe. That they're paying me for photos and video that go into their thing, and I'm fascinated by how the technology works. I'm claim to know all about computers and graphics, and I'm baffled. It's it is interesting. So I've just made a copy of the chat so I can remember to go back to watch anybody that I had missed or had a couple new subscriptions going on in there as well, people that I hadn't met before. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to visit them. And I'm going to, as I said, we save this. Let's close that. We're finished with AI for the time being. Sure, save that. And we're going to say thank you for coming by. I say everybody that I may have missed, I'm going to definitely take the time to, and the phone is shutting down because it's running out of battery puff. Let's give it a jolt. There we are. Yeah, I forgot to charge this stupid thing this morning, and but it hadn't lost us yet, so I'm happy with that. The hopefully we'll get some likes on this. And see if people like my cat. So thank you everybody for coming by. I'm going to hit end on this thing, and then we'll have all this fun again soon. Ahoy and aloha. Am I sure I want to stop? I want to stop.